I don't know where I am. I'm Shantae. I wasn't gonna say nothing. Do I understand? There we go. I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't. I said, you know what? This is one of those times where you shouldn't say anything. You should just watch. I'm scrolling on the internet. I'm scrolling, minding my own business. Instagram taking forever for my story. This is my story to upload. Cause I'm sitting there just bored. I'm doing something I don't do. Scrolling. And I sit here, I can't believe it. And I came to this one post, got my attention. Only reason I stopped because of the name. I was like, you're right. I said I wasn't going to say nothing. I really wasn't going to say nothing. I went. I didn't even want to stop and read when I saw his name. No, Luigi Magnioni. No, really, Luigi. Magnione. I don't know exactly. I ain't paid a lot of attention, but I know I'm saying it close enough. Luigi Magnioni. The young man back in December. A young man back in December event back in New York, healthcare official. I'm scrolling. I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not. For some reason, I couldn't get no peace. I was gonna have to say something. This is one of those times where I really, honestly, genuinely, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna watch. Somebody said, watch what? Watch what this young man about to get away with. And I was like, okay. Oh my goodness. This young man, bless his heart. Now, I can't. This is one of those things where you had to do, if you don't know who Luigi, Luigi, Magnioni, Magnione, something like that. I know the G and it are definitely close together. Luigi Magnioni is, you know what, you just take a second, a brief recess, and go and look it up. You know what? I said I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna say anything. I said because this young man, especially after the whole McDonald's, the focus went from that to McDonald's. You know what? I said, you know what? I'm not gonna say nothing because it's something. I won't give any opinions. I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was just gonna watch. You know what? And somebody said, watch what? This young man about to get away with. Oh, he going? He might because he close. You know what? Luigi Magnioni. He was around, and then he wasn't, and then he showed up all of a sudden. Now, then he was all over the news for a little while. He still is. I guess what people is following the story. He got caught in McDonald's. You know how it is, because you count on them people. You know what? He was in McDonald's. I can't believe he had another go to McDonald's and sit down at breakfast in a community. And that's when you know somebody showed up. They said, hey. They went over to the counter. They had been talking amongst themselves for probably having their morning coffee and stuff like that with sausage biscuit. They probably going to that same McDonald's with you. Then you want to get right. And they said, hey, they were talking amongst themselves at the coffee. I think that's the young man they talking about. Looking for on the news. You know what? So no, they walk, because they good Samaritans. But they good Samaritans over there. So they walked their behind right on over to the counter and told on his ass. You know what? Told him. They went over to the counter. Walked over to the counter and said, hey, I think that's the young man. They looking for all over the news. You don't. Hell yeah, that motherfucker showed up and arrested his ass. You know what? I said, that's a big one, considering you gotta watch the video. And then he thought I can't believe he didn't realize what he had done. He was all over the news. He felt comfortable enough to show up in a community like that, breakfast time, you know what, McDonald's, and sit down and eat. You said, them people walk over, they talk about themselves for, like, hey, I think that's the young man they're looking for in the news. And they might have cross-referenced, you know what, and say, you know what, I think you're right. So they walk over to the counter, and they talk to the person that called to one of the employees. They say, hey, you know what, so what the employees do? They call police. Police came over and arrested his ass, you know what. There's a reason I say it like this. Now you gotta go back and watch the video. So he was in New York. I don't know what happened in New York, you know what? But it's enough for people to know about him all over the news and notice him in McDonald's, and the staff at McDonald's called police and they arrested his ass. You know what? Now take all things into consideration. I don't want to say they gotta do your own research. He on the news. No, nobody. We're not talking. We are talking about why he was in New York. We're talking about that. But the focus went from New York, from whatever happened. He was living a regular life, and then all of a sudden he won. And then people were like, wait, where's Luigi? You know what? He showed up in New York. I don't know what he did in New York. I don't. You have to watch the video. Just Luigi Magnoni. You know what? He leave New York. He over in a community at the McDonald's, sitting down eating breakfast. They're like, hey, and that young man. So then they went and told him. You know, that's how they are. They want to tell him. They went and told him. And the attendant was like, I guess the staff from at the McDonald's. They looked over, and sure as shit, they called police. Police showed up and arrested his ass. You know what? Now, nobody's gonna talk about why he might have been on the news in the first place. Why is the fact that his face was so recognizable, even in that small town, somewhere out here in the United States. Right? No one gonna talk about that. No, they're gonna talk about that. You know what? They're gonna talk about the fact they say that the police illegally obtained his DNA. You know what? No, seriously, because they offered him something to eat or something to drink or something like that. It sounded to me if he was in McDonald's, he was already eating and drinking, but he was still hungry. You know what? And they were being nice, and they offered him something. So of course, as soon as he got finished eating, they went behind him, took the cup and the wrapper and stuff like that, and got DNA evidence. Now I understand this is one of those things where you got to do your own research. I promise I won't say nothing. He was around. And then he disappeared for a little while. Then he show up in New York. You know what? Next thing I don't know why. He all over the news. To the point where people in small, I don't want to cuss. I don't want to say bumfuck. You know what? Small town, somewhere here in the United States. They have that little social group sitting down. They probably go there every day, eat every day having their coffee. They probably got their coffee group. Or got their friends, retirees and stuff like that. So eating their breakfast. You know what? And that coffee. Like, hey. And then they walked over. They walked over to the counter and they told one of the employees at McDonald's, "Hey, I think that's the person they're looking for." Now we don't know why. You know what? Because of course he was around and then he won. He showed up in New York. He all over the news. You know what? He got arrested at McDonald's. And then a couple months later, now I scroll on the internet, and what do we see about him? They talking about his DNA. His DNA was possibly illegally obtained or unlawfully obtained by the police. You know what? Luigi Magnoni, that's all I because first I wasn't going to say that I was trying to be unbiased. No, it's not a race thing. This young man, he a tree. All I got to say is, I promise I won't say anything, so I won't. You know what? But now, if you go back and watch the video, Luigi Magnoni, and then you understand he was around, and then he wasn't, and then all of a sudden he in New York. Then he left New York, all over the news. If he wasn't famous when he went to New York, he definitely was famous when his ass left. You know what? All over the news. To the point when people in small town USA would know where he was, recognize him at McDonald's, having their morning coffee, walk over. Hey, I think that's the man. They're looking for over the news. Now, I don't know why. And now he all over the news, talking about his DNA was unlawfully obtained. That's all I had to say about that. I am Shantae J.